Greetings to Dr. Farihah. My name is Nurul Binti Arman Nizam, D20231105594. I'm from Group D. So, this is my e-portfolio. So, for the first part of my e-portfolio, I discuss the overview of the Malaysian educational system, mainly the Malaysian Secondary English Language Curriculum, SBELC. So, SBELC has evolved greatly over time to meet the country's changing educational needs. So, although initially it is designed for administrative and economic purposes, it now has been updated to enhance students' communication, critical thinking skills, and literacy skills. So this curriculum is aligned with the CEFR, which is the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, which is globalized. So the goals of the curriculum is to promote communicative competence, foster literacy to understand and produce text, as well as to develop high-order thinking skills using the revised Bloom's taxonomy. So how the curriculum address the language skills? So SBELC focuses on listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills. So for example, to improve student listening skills, we can use audio materials. For speaking, we can use debates, and reading, we can use analysis. While writing skills, for writing skills, we can develop these skills through various texts. Okay, so I also included comparison between the KBSM and KSSR. So in short, KBSM was teacher-centered and exam-oriented approach, while KSSR encouraged active learning and collaborations, which is great. In my opinion, it is great to prepare students for a dynamic, globalized world. So next is the ESL concept. So in my portfolio, the first part for ESL concepts is motivation. So in this e-portfolio, I discusses the intrinsic versus the extrinsic motivations. The difference between intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation is intrinsic motivation is something that a learner does because they enjoy it, while extrinsic motivation is something that a learner does for external rewards or to avoid pressure. Okay, it is this motivation is almost similar with integrative motivation and instrumental motivation. So I also included the definition and differences between these four. So integrative motivation stems from the learner's genuine interest in the language culture, while instrumental motivation is something that is practical and goal-oriented. For example, the student learn English for career goals or academic purposes. So next, how motivation impacts learning outcomes. So from this, I read a review on of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation of ESL learner written by Q and Pope. So I agree with the statement, which is learners, even with proper curriculum and effective instructions, long-term goals cannot be achieved without motivation. This showcases how important motivation is in impacting the learning outcomes. So so as a teacher, we have to learn to cultivate and sustain students' enthusiasm for learning English, and this can be achieved by addressing both the intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. So lastly, for this part, I also included some examples on what to do to help students' motivation. Firstly, but through intrinsic motivation, we maybe can ask them to discuss their favorite music or movies in English. So this can engage their interest for intrinsic motivation learners, so they feel excited to engage in the learning process. But for extrinsic motivation, the teachers can, for example, offer tangible or intangible rewards. By doing so, the students will be appalled, will be excited to join. So, for example, teachers can give extra 10 minutes of recess time for the students that achieve the learning goals. Lastly, in short, to apply this in class, the teachers should also communicate clearly about the aims and the tasks that students need to do to receive the awards. So next, learner strategies and styles. So I included three types of styles, which is auditory learners, visual learners, and kinesthetic learners. So in short, auditory learners learn through listening, visual learns from seeing and observing, while kinesthetic learners thrives on hands-on activities and gender-based activities. So while language learning strategies includes metacognitive strategies, which allow students to manage their own learning, affective strategies, which is to help the students to develop and control their emotions, attitudes, and motivations and value, and social strategies, where it encourages the students to interact with others. So for example, metacognitive learners, the students can learn. An example of metacognitive learning is when the students do lists or timetables of the subjects that they want to learn or to revise on. While for effective strategies, for example, for students with anxiety, they might have panic attacks or feel nervous when they have to go for public speaking. So they do self-talk, positive self-talk, or even practice breathing techniques. So for social strategies, for students that want to improve their speaking speaking skills, they participate in forums, online forums, where they can engage with native speaker. So for the next part under the ESL concept is ESL teaching approaches. There are 5 theories and approaches that are used to analyze language acquisition. So the first one is behaviorist theory, proposed by B.F. Skinner. It focuses on learning through repetition and reinforcement, where behaviors is believed to be shaped by stimuli and responses. So in this theory, there are 2 types of reinforcement, which is positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. So in practice, as a teacher, we can use drill and practice activity, such as repeating grammar structures or vocabulary with immediate feedback. So to reinforce this, teachers can give praises or rewards for students with the most correct answers, which would then encourage the desired behavior. Similarly, teachers can also do negative reinforcement by removing extra homework if the students manage to complete the task, which can motivate the students to perform well. So next is the constructivist theory, which is proposed by Jean Piaget, which emphasizes that students actively construct knowledge through their experiences. So learning in this theory, learning is a process of understanding, reflecting, and connecting new knowledge to prior knowledge. So as a teacher, we can apply this theory by implementing scaffolding, where the teachers can provide step-by-step tasks, such as writing a paragraph before gradually removing the supports, which to foster independence in the students. The third theory is the innatist theory by Noam Chomsky. It suggests that language acquisition is an innate ability driven by the language acquisition device, LAD. So Chomsky in this theory argues that children naturally grasp the language without formal teaching. So in the classroom, teacher can apply this theory by creating immersive language environment by using English for a classroom instruction or storytelling. So next is sociocultural theory, which is developed by Lev Vygotsky. So it emphasizes that social interaction is critical for cognitive and language development. So Vygotsky, the key concept in Vygotsky's theory is the zone of proximal development, ZPD, which highlights the gap between what students can do independently and what they can achieve with guidance. So for this activity, collaborative learning, such as peer discussions or group problem solving activities, is encouraged to promote interaction. And lastly is cognitive theory by Piaget. It focuses on how learners actively process information and adapt their understanding through stages of development. So teachers should design tasks that is appropriate for students' cognitive level. For example, the activities that teachers can use as activities such as summarizing a story and linking it to personal experiences, which can deepen their understanding and encourage critical thinking in the students. So lastly is 35 Kagan cooperative learning strategy. So it is Kagan cooperative learning strategy is a step-by-step instructional strategies that follows 4 basic principles. So the key principles is WISE. First is positive interdependence, where students rely on each other to achieve a shared goal. Second is individual accountability, where each student is responsible for the task within the group. Third is equal participation, where everyone is given an equal opportunity to contribute. And fourth is simultaneous interaction, where multiple students interact at the same time during the activities. So, for example, implementation in class includes think, pair, and share activities, where students have to think individually, discuss it with their partner, and share the ideas with the class. And the second activity is round and robin, where students have to take turns sharing answers or ideas in a small group. That is all for me. Thank you.